There were some crazy fights last night or the other night, a couple nights ago. The point is that there's a spectacular heel hook finish that I want to discuss. Let's get right into it. Fight cam. I don't really want to discuss what exactly happened, like got here. That wasn't as interesting. What's interesting about it is he starts playing butterfly, right? But the hips are high on Emmers. Once he gets the guard here, I think what's really fun about this is the fact that he kind of abandons his butterfly guard because Emmers is keeping his hips up high, and he resorts to half guard. In terms of pros and cons, it's just you gotta always stay dynamic, no matter what. But like there's kind of like a hierarchy of positions you want to be in. But regardless, if you stay dynamic, it doesn't really matter if you don't, as long as you don't stay there too long. When I see that Sabatini goes to half guard, it's not that big of an issue. It's just a matter of what he does with it. He does have an underhook. What does he do from here? He pulls deep half. After he pulls half guard, he swims underneath the leg, and you can see it in his arm here, and he starts rocking the base of Emmers, all right? So instead now, the center of gravity is right above him, as opposed to if we go back one frame, you'll see that here, the center of gravity is, Emmers' center of gravity is kind of still underneath his hips. Right here, it's not anymore. It's right above Sabatini. A deep half guard in the context of mixed martial arts is a really good place to kind of offset your opponent, all right? So the key thing is you can't stay here too long and you can't let them get the crossface. And you'll see that Emmers does get a little bit of a crossface, I think, from this angle. Sabatini takes this opportunity from deep half and he scoops and he uses that to bring his left leg across Emmers' body. Once he brings it across Emmers' body, you can see here there's a natural progression to going to single leg X or Ashikarami. Whatever your flavor is for in terms of whether you want to sweep, submit, or go for leg locks, whatever you want. Lots of options here at the moment. You see he starts getting the reap going, right? He's behind the knee. He's deep behind the knee. That's critical, right? So then he gets the collapse, right? So he can't just lock his leg out, but usually like the straight boot defense. He's kind of compromised the posture and the structural integrity of Emmers' base. So from here, once he's got single leg X, we can see that he falls into the 50-50. And when we fall into the 50-50, things get really interesting, okay? Like they kind of collapse and then all of a sudden they're in the 50-50. And this is my favorite part of the fight. It's the fact that they got into like a leg lock shootout. This is the equivalent of two guys pulling the guns at the same time, right? Except one guy might have a bigger gun because Michael Bisping makes a fun comment during this fight. Toe holds, schmo holds, right? There's kind of a stigma around toe holds. You can't really finish a fight with them, so to speak. I think that's not necessarily true, but I understand where he's coming from. If I had the choice between getting the heel hook or getting the toe hold, I'm 100% choosing the heel hook. There's just a terrifying element, and like there's a terrifying element of someone having the leverage to destroy your knee with all that torquing power versus someone destroying my ankle. And now it sounds awful to say, but if I had the choice between my ankle and my knee, I'd rather choose my ankle in terms of what I'd let tear and snap. This is a hilarious position in the sense that both of them are on a time ticker right now. Like in theory, if Emmers gets the toe hold a little bit tighter, this guy's foot is destroyed. Sabatini, on the other hand, if he locks in the heel hook tight, that's his knee gone, right? So what ends up happening? What's the resultant outcome here? We got to look at the toe hold first, okay? We all know the outcome of the fight. Sabatini gets a vicious heel hook finish that leaves Emmers like writhing on the floor in pain. So what exactly went wrong? If you look at the way he has this toe hold, and you see if you go back to the actual fight footage, if you watch this fight on Fight Pass, you can see that he does do all the right things for a brief second. He has all the right parts, right? He's grabbing the foot, he's got the figure four hold, right? I wouldn't say he has the best lower body control because he is in the 50-50 and he is attacking the opposite foot. This isn't the most optimal thing to go for in the 50-50. It's an option, but again, not optimal. But you see, my big point of concern is actually his elbows. The parameters in which you want to finish his toe hold is you want his heel close to his butt, right? This leg needs to be bent way closer. And from there, once you have that, you want to be crunching your whole body in. You don't necessarily want to be here and like relying strictly on your wrists to finish this toe hold. You don't want to be doing this. What you want to be doing is once you have the foot and you've grabbed just like Emmers has, you want to be able to crunch your elbows in and crunch the toe hold at the same time. You want to put your whole body into it versus just using your wrists. Once you have the leg bent and you use your whole body, the chances of actually breaking his foot or just tearing all the ligaments that go across the foot there becomes much higher. But as you can see here, it's really loose. You see like how much space there is, and he's strictly just relying on his hand and his grip and his wrist strength to get this. And his Sabatini is probably doing a good job in trying to. He's probably doing a great job in making sure his legs stay straight this entire time. He knows what's up, right? If you're in the 50-50, what you can do to them, they can do to you. So this is a shootout. They're both aware of it, and that's why they're gunning for this as hard as they can. On the flip side, what made Sabatini's heel hook so vicious? If we go to the heel hook angle, all right, so this is just literally the moment he taps out, right? You can see that Emmers completely bails on the toe hold, and he's screaming in pain. Why is this heel hook way more vicious than like other heel hooks? The 50-50 heel hook is one of the most devastating submissions you can get on someone, strictly because of how much damage you can do to the knee and the torque you can put on someone's knee once you get it. Usually you want a little bit of bend in the leg. In this case, you can see in the picture here, he doesn't actually have it bent at all. He has it completely straight. You can see by the way he's triangled his legs, he has a very, very, very tight grip on Reimers' thigh, which means that his knee is completely locked in place.
When you have the straight leg and the 50-50 heel hook, what you end up getting is not just torquing power, but you also get lateral pressure on the knee. The twisting power of the heel hook and the lateral pressure on the knee makes this a much more devastating injury once the pressure is applied.
So in a nutshell, this fight was a lot of fun for a lot of reasons. Primarily, like the fact that you see two guys get into a 50-50 shootout in mixed martial arts where they're refusing, like they're not even going for ground and pound, they're just strictly going for the sub. That's awesome. I love it. Thanks guys for tuning in for this breakdown. Smash that subscribe button, and I don't know. Yeah, visit my Patreon. Cheers.